Hello everybody and welcome back after a long extended break. Welcome back to the coverThe Academy of Linguistic Analysis, where we analyze news on the front page of different newspapers and draw conclusions, vague conclusions, academic conclusions, I don't know. We draw conclusions about how emotions might be raised or feelings might be kept calm depending on the use of pictures and language. As a bit of an excuse as to why I've been gone for so long, I have been doing something pretty cool. I'll just chuck up some cards here.
Ineens gehoord.
Ineens gehoord. Ineens gehoord. That's what I've been up to. So.
Ineens gehoord.
Onzoudeh. So there you go, onzoudeh. So I've been learning a little bit of Arabic, and I've gotten a few of the words quite familiar, and I've decided to ladder that into Hebrew. So that's why we've been a bit busy at the coverThe Academy. We do also work as well. But we're back because we've got a very interesting story. It's a balloon. It's a balloon. We did talk back in the early days of the war in the Ukraine about how negativity would probably shift towards China on the front page of the newspaper. And it has been happening gradually, quite gradually. We didn't quite predict how this would happen. We knew what would happen. We can conspiracy theories as to why it would happen. But the how, it's just magnificent. It's a balloon. So today we're going to be having a look at the front page of different newspapers talking about a balloon and see which is more negative, which is more emotional. Okay, so Beijing calls for calm. So calls for calm means people are what? That means people are starting to panic. So that's Beijing calls for calm amid. This is the word that they love to use in newspapers, growing. They love that. They don't say row, they say growing row, because that means it's getting worse. Okay? So that helps generate negativity, like growing dispute, growing tensions, growing violence. Like you just take a negative word and put growing in front of it and you make it even more negative. It's beautiful. They call for calm. Now that's quite interesting. It kind of means Beijing. Like, the subject there is Beijing and they're calling for calm. That's usually fairly positive. That's kind of positive with Beijing. Growing row with US over suspected spy balloons. So that's pretty cool. They've got like suspected there. So they're not saying, that these are definitely spy balloons. They've got it suspected, which is cool. Well, that does have, suspicious suspected in there. Okay. And they've got the big one here, China. I like that. I like how they've got it. It's the headlines, but they've got the tag up the top, China, and then just negativity. China, negative, negative, negative. And then what are we going to do about the balloon? Are we going to give it a really bad mark for raising emotions? It's this white thing. It's a white circle. Like if you hadn't told me it was the moon, the balloon, I would have thought it was the moon with like some really cool massive satellite in front of it. I would have thought, wow, China's built like a massive satellite that's going to the moon. But no, it's a balloon. And then it says Beijing says it will not accept any groundless conjecture after balloons spotted. So note the use of the passive here. The balloons are spotted over US and Latin America. So it's not just with the US, it's and Latin America. It's not the one place. There's nothing here that says connects this balloon with a nationality. Look, I think overall, like you've got growing row, which is negative, but you've got calls for calm. No, that doesn't make it positive. Suspected, which means that they're not making blatant accusations. Beijing says will not accept groundless conjecture. Very intelligent quote there from the Foreign Ministry of China. Groundless conjecture. It's just beautiful. As soon as you quote the Foreign Ministry of China, you get like less comment. It goes from an IELTS 7, IELTS 8 to an IELTS 9. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Okay, so that's The Guardian. That's England. Next one coming up is the New York Times. So the first thing you'll notice with the New York Times here, today's Saturday, well, 4th of February. I don't know when this balloon appeared. I saw it in a YouTube feed with a satirical YouTube channel. And honestly speaking, I didn't think it was real. I thought it was satire. So I didn't pay any attention to it. But it turns out it's real. So I don't know if this is the third day of this massive news story. But here we've got something else. Very sad. You can see straight away there's a cross. Oh, geez, little toys. Like maybe a child was shot. The news is so sad. Like, look at those little toys next to that dirty road and the grey sky, and the symbol of death. Very, very sad. But we're not going to look at that. But there's some sort of sad story there that's the main news. Muscle cars, balaclavas, and fists. Yeah, I know I was talking about negativity, but muscle cars, balaclavas, and fists sounds like some sort of cool television series. Right. Okay, so let's come in and zoom in on the balloon. We're tracking a flight of fear and fascination. So that's beautiful. Now, I don't know if you guys know, I don't know myself, literary devices, I think they're called. Someone help me out there. Write in the comment section below. What is this? You can see tracking a flight of fear and fascination. Now, I'm pretty sure that's called alliteration when you've got the same consonant sounds, like twice in a row, 3 times in a row. So, standing applause for the New York Times. IELTS 9, guys. Well done. You've got alliteration, flight of fear and fascination. Like, you could give that to some Koreans who aren't very good at English and get them to go, flight of fear and fascination. Now, I'm making fun of Korean. I tried to learn Korean for 6 months and got nowhere. So, full respect to you Korean speakers out there who are learning English and are getting somewhere. Unlike me, much better. Don't worry. I'm laughing from below you guys. Don't worry. It's not a superior status thing. Okay. A Chinese balloon, and there it is, straight away it's a Chinese balloon, was seen over Montana. Okay, so the previous one in The Guardian mentioned Latin America, and I think they had balloons, something like that. But here we've got some detail, Montana. It has done nothing. Oh, I love that. The Chinese, this balloon, I need an arrow for this one here. Let me put an arrow, a red arrow. This balloon, wait, where's that? I've got to join it. Boom. So this balloon, it has done nothing. Beautiful negative language from the New York Times. Like, respect, it has done nothing. This stupid balloon has done nothing. I love it, I love it. Has done nothing to ease tensions. So we've got the words tensions here. So tensions in the New York Times. What was the word in The Guardian? A row, a growing row. And here the balloon has done nothing to ease tensions, which kind of implies that they're fairly high. Maybe they should be eased, but this balloon is not helping, guys. Okay, between the US and China, boom, bada, boom. So it is a Chinese balloon, and it's done nothing to help to ease the tensions. You've got more negativity against this noun called China. But the timing of it all seemed right for obsessing. Okay, so that was pretty mysterious, and I think that's good clickbait from the New York Times. The timing of it all seemed right for obsessing. Like, why? You want to click, you want to find out. And I did click. And interesting article. I recommend you read it. Thank you very much. 5-minute read. Before the balloon was discovered, a classified US report outlined incidents of a rival power conducting aerial surveillance. Is that China? That's interesting. Here, there was like no shyness whatsoever in saying Chinese balloon, China and US. Whereas in this one here, there's no mention of the other country. Is it China? Unfortunately, they haven't done what The Guardian did and just write in big red letters China at the top. That makes life so much easier when you're trying to attach negativity to something. Just write that noun in big red letters like John. The Philfarkov Academy. Tracking a flight of fear and fascination. The Philfarkov Academy. Beautiful stuff. So full respect to the New York Times. I'm going to say it's more than The Guardian. So we're going to compare the next newspaper with the New York Times to see which one is raising more negative emotions about this white. Okay, so those of you guys who've been with the Philfarkov YouTube channel for quite a while now, or one of you, my mum, you're probably aware of the fact that sometimes I pause the video and get you to guess what you think you'll see in the next one. So I've had a look at The Guardian. It wasn't as negative as the New York Times. It didn't have the direct link to China. Now we're going to have a look at CNN. Do you think that CNN will be like the New York Times? Like, will it link directly to China? Will it talk about tensions and growing rows? Will it avoid the name China? Will it use the passive CNN? Right, so press pause, have a think, cast your mind back to what CNN was saying in the previous topics we were discussing. What do you think it'll do this time? Okay, press pause, last chance, here we go. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, top left corner. Again, the white thing with the Ericssons. It's got the Ericsson logo on it. Maybe it's an Ericsson balloon. No one thought it. It's Ericsson, guys. It's a weather satellite for Ericsson. Okay, so sorry, I haven't got that in focus. 1 second. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Biden. So straight away they're quoting the president. And I think that makes it more negative. Well, it depends what he's saying, of course. Let's have a look. We're gonna. You up. What's he saying? Big man Biden. What's he gonna say? We're gonna take care of. Okay. Suspected Chinese spy balloon. Now, this is good. We've got Chinese there, which makes it negative. We've got suspected. Has that a suspicion? Possible Chinese spy balloon. Yeah. Alleged. Well, that would have been the neutral one. The alleged Chinese spy balloon. So let's come down and have a look at some of the detail of what they're saying. And yeah, this is where it gets interesting. Like, you just couldn't make this stuff up. Like, I can't believe people take this seriously, honestly. US president has been discussing options with military brass. Now, for those of you guys who aren't native speakers, you might be thinking brass, that's a type of metal. like copper or something like that. Now, brass means they got the general stars. He's been discussing with the top generals what they're going to do about the balloon as it traverses eastern United States, which is quite interesting. Like, do you know where Montana is? They haven't mentioned Montana. I thought Montana was on the west coast, to be honest with you. This one's got it going down the east coast. Don't worry, I put that yellow there. It wasn't yellow, it was white. So yeah, this is so far easily the most negative because you got the president discussing things with military generals. And then above that, he's saying, we're going to take care of. And in order to take care of that, he's discussing it with military generals. So if we have a look over to the right, things are looking good, guys, seriously. Okay, so we come down here and let's have a look at this one here. A look at China's history of spying in the US. Okay, so let's give you a whole history. Let's generate more negativity about China. We're going to come up to Fox News. So the ones who've looked at it so far are left-leaning newspapers. All of them. They're New York Times, CNN, and Guardian. All left-leaning newspapers. And so far we've got CNN is the most negative, I would say. Simply because of the idea of talking with military generals. I think that alludes to war, which isn't very good. And why the US hasn't shot down. So that it's shot down. Okay, so last one, Fox News. We're going to go with the conservatives. And there it is. So it doesn't matter if it's like the war in the Ukraine or if it's a balloon in the sky over Montana. You've got Biden looking stupid. I think that's the key idea of Fox News, is just to show stupid looking Biden. Which is fun if you think about it, right? Because like readers of the New York Times, CNN have just been seeing pictures and news about the war in the Ukraine for quite a while now, like, you know, most days. Whereas the Fox News readers have been seeing pictures of Biden as an idiot for most days. And I think I've already mentioned this. It's kind of strange for me. I don't think this really ever happened before, as far as I know, where you just had a continuous stream of two completely different stories viewed by different political people leaning towards different political directions in the one country. I haven't really seen it in Australian newspapers. It seems to be quite an American thing. Yeah, I think for that country, you know, it doesn't bode too well for them if you've got people like not just getting different versions of the same story, but talking about completely different things. Particularly when one of them is negative about the other, as we see here with Biden. And just one quick point. I read one of the articles. I can't remember if it was Fox News or CNN, and they were quoting a former Donald Trump politician in a very positive light. In fact, he's on the BBC. Pumping up negativity about China big time. Okay, so Biden's balloon fiasco. So this is great. It's not China's. It's Biden's balloon, and it's a friggin' fiasco. And then this one, guys, this is an epic. I'll zoom in just to make sure you get the full appreciation of this one. China's spy airship. Boom. Yep, it's the Death Star. It's the Death Star. The airship spotted over major US city. And then, guys, look, we had growing row. Like, you've got to push that negativity up. You can't just have it there static. That's not good enough. You have to have it growing so it increases the threat. And we've got it here as pressure mounts. That's another good thing. Like, obviously, now that we've got, like, AI writing stories, you don't need to worry about this. But just in case, like, OpenAI stops working or something like that, you need to know as pressure mounts is a good way of creating that increased tension in the reader. As pressure mounts, as tension mounts, as row mounts, as conflict mounts. Just chuck it in that little formula. You're going to be creating negativity. Mounts on president to act. And so here I think they're probably going to be talking about shooting it down. And here you can see there's no alleged anywhere. Well, why would you use the word alleged in the newspaper? Like, who does that? Who uses the word alleged in a newspaper? What kind of stupid word is that to use? Okay, suspected. Right. Speaks on Chinese spy balloon, Chinese spy airship. So they go with a Chinese spy twice in that little break there. National security experts said it has a legal right to shoot down the balloon. Well, here we go. This is a nice one. I don't know if you can see. I won't waste time zooming in. Chinese hurls, like to throw with great aggression, hurls an accusation at the US and sounds alarm. It's very dangerous what they're doing. The China expert sounds the alarm. So, as you might expect, Fox News is taking the cake. And one of them, I can't remember which one, The Guardian, they had a little map, which I thought was really cool. Possible route of the Chinese spy balloon. So, once you get into the details, they suddenly forgot to say suspected. They just said suspected on the front page. And then they just switched to the Chinese spy balloon when they were giving the details. Possible route. It came from China. This is just lovely. Estimated trajectory. They've even got a key for the two things here to fully inform you of what's happening. Okay, so big round of applause for Fox News. They've taken the negativity, as you would expect. But the other guys have all been pretty negative about it too. Now let's go over here. What I wanted to show, a little extra bit down here. Hunter Biden again. They're putting him in the bottom right-hand corner, I've noticed. I noticed that before when we were covering some stories about the war in the Ukraine, that they would have negativity about his father up the top, and then you'd scroll down for a bit and see more negativity. And negativity, you have like a picture of a black person. A lot of racist stuff, like without being overly racist. A picture of a black person, the word predator. You know, predator, blackface. China spy. And then we come over here and we've got Hunter Biden, and that's the dodgy stuff about the son, Hunter Biden. And look at this language. Learn about the shadowy dealings and unhinged life of the president's son, Hunter Biden. I just wanted to share that collocation with you. Unhinged life. You know, I'm not going to click on it, but it would be interesting to see how they linguistically construct the impression of an unhinged life. It would probably be something like, is he doing flashcards like this?